Mohawk Jewelers, timeless jewelry for generations.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Fight Against COVID 19. I'm your host, Dr. Shefali Agrawal. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing our show. Today, we are very excited because we have two great leaders of API who we are going to be talking about and what they're doing in the fight against COVID 19. We have talked to many people, and these are people who are in frontline heroes and what they are doing to support such an important task of fight against COVID 19. I have Dr. Suresh Reddy, who's the president of API, and I have Dr. Seema Arora, who's the chair and board of trustees. So I'm going to invite both of them. Good evening, Dr. Suresh and Dr. Seema.
Hi, good evening, Shefali ji. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, Seema. Welcome to the show, and it's an honor to have both of you here.
Thank you.
So, I just, before we start, tell me a little bit. I'm going to start with Dr. Suresh. Ask him a little bit about his training and his professional background, if you can kindly tell us about that.
Thank you, Shefali ji. I'm Dr. Suresh Reddy, president of National API. API is American Association of Physicians of Indian origin. And my professional background is I'm a trained radiologist in India and United States. I did my fellowship and training in Boston at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center and also at Brigham. And I stayed on faculty for Harvard faculty for almost 13 years. And I was chief of intervention neuroradiology at Harvard in Beth Israel and Deaconess Medical Center. Then recently I moved to Chicago and I'm the chair of radiology at Heinz Medical Center and Loyola University. And I'm an intervention neuroradiologist and endovascular neurosurgeon.
That's amazing. It's a pleasure to have such an accomplished person on our show. Really excited about it. Seema, can you please tell a little bit about yourself?
Sure, Shefali. So I'm Dr. Seema Arora. I'm chair board of trustees of API. And I'm board certified internist, specialized in addiction medicine and also medical aesthetics. I went to medical school at Lady Hardinge Medical College in New Delhi, India. And I did my residency at Howard Partners North Shore Medical Center and rotations at Mass General Hospital in Massachusetts. Ever since, I have been in Massachusetts practicing for about 25 years. Currently, I'm in private practice and I work out of 2 offices in Massachusetts.
That's amazing. Really, really. Thank you for coming to the show. So, Dr. Suresh, could you tell us a little bit about your volunteer work, especially how it relates to API?
I always had passion for alumni associations. Initially, I got involved in our alumni. That's Usmania Medical Alumni and Kakatiya Alumni. That's where I come from, Hyderabad, India. And we built several alumni centers in our alumni alma mater, and we raised almost $1 million to build alumni centers, and we did electronic libraries, and we are always in contact with our alumni, and we attend their alumni graduation ceremonies, and we donate stethoscopes, white coats, and that's how I was involved. Then I got involved in API later, and I've been in API for almost 20 years, but active for the last 10 years. And API is the American Association of Physicians of Indian origin, and it represents the interest of almost 100,000 Indian physicians present in the United States. That includes the first, second, and third generation physicians. And we have almost 13,000 paid members. And we have several projects going on simultaneously. And API has our main goals and mission are education, mentoring, research, charity, and service. Education, we provide a lot of education opportunities to the medical students, physicians, and also lay public. And mentoring to medical students and high school students who are contemplating career in medical field. And research, we have ongoing several research projects along with some of the academic physicians. And charity, we have almost 14 charitable clinics in India. And also we have around 30 to 40 charitable clinics in the United States, which are run by our sub-chapters. We have almost 150 sub-chapters in the United States. And we do service depending upon the time. We have donated to Hurricane RV. We have donated to monsoons in India. We have donated to floods and tufans. And also recently we donated to several other causes in the United States.
That's amazing. Thank you for giving us some background about API. So Seema, can you tell about your volunteer work and especially how you help in API?
Yes, Shefali. So basically, as I told you, I've always lived in Massachusetts. So I started working locally with our medical organization here, which is called Indian Medical Association of New England, in short, IMAN. IMAN is very actively involved in all the work that, Suresh has just described. We are actually a sub-chapter here in IMAN of API. So we do a lot of community work, health fairs, charity work locally at the local level. Then we are connected to the national organization API, and we are sort of our regional directors to communicate with API. So I was president of IMAN in 2015, and then I became regional director from there of New England, and that's how I got connected with API. And I was also, for a couple of years, I was president of my alumni association, Lady Harding Medical College, which is also a nationwide organization. Then another cultural organization, which is very close to my heart because, I'm on the side, I'm a very creative person and like to do a lot of other stuff as hobbies, So that organization is called United India Association of New England. And we promote culture, our Indian culture, and involve children. And, we do Diwali, Holi. In fact, I was the first one to start Holi in New England. And after that...
So how are you affiliated to that, United Nations of New England, or how are you affiliated to that?
I was president of United India.
United India Associations of New England. Thank you. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, go ahead, please.
So then regarding API, I have, from regional director position, I moved on to Board of Trustees, which was a nationwide election, and I got elected. For past 3 years, I've been Board of Trustees, and this year I got elected as the Chair Board of Trustees of API.
That's amazing. So Dr. Suresh, please, can you tell a little bit about the services that API provides? I know you talked about the members and things like what does API do along with, of course, being a physician, huge organization?
As I said before, services, we have charitable clinics and in India and even here. But this year has been very challenging because we have this deadly virus floating around in the streets and keeping us inside. And it's a very difficult situation. I have mixed feelings about this. The one is a sad feeling where everybody, there's so much pain and suffering around. But I'm also proud at the same time that our own doctors, as I said, like every 7th or 8th doctor in the United States is an Indian doctor. I'm very proud of them that they have taken this as a challenge on a war front.
Yes.
And overnight they have become soldiers at the war front. And they have worked so hard and saving lives, putting their own lives at risk, which we are not trained for. But I'm very proud of that, and that is the service and charity we are doing this year. I'm very proud of all the doctors, Indian doctors especially, and all the healthcare workers who are putting their life at risk and trying to help each and every patient suffered during this COVID.
No, that's great. So Seema, tell me a little bit about during this crisis, what did API do? What are the initiatives API did and how did they react?
So Shefali, we were just doing our usual charity and community work as our mission and goals of our organization, Dr. Reddy described. When we got suddenly unprecedented, this catastrophe came, and I'm very proud to say that our organization was one of the first organizations to jump in and take a lead on various projects, which are not only helping our own physicians who are on the front line and putting their lives and their families' lives at risk, but also the community. So our physicians, did not even have in the beginning protective equipment like masks and gowns and etc. So we took out some funds from our operating funds and bought some masks and provided those to our physicians so they could protect themselves. That is something what we started with, and after that we started a fundraiser, in which our own API members contributed a lot, and now we have raised quite a lot of funds, and we are distributing it through our regional directors. Like I said, we have about 10 regions, and the whole country is divided into those regions. So now we are able to reach out to every region, and we provided protective equipment to every region and food and whatever the need may be. So that's one of the projects. And, we are also very actively providing education to our physicians, through webinars. We have webinars every Wednesday and Saturday, and very renowned speakers, very well-known, high-level speakers come and speak and educate our physicians about the current, issues and what's the latest in medicine and in technology. So it helps us keep up with everything. As you know, it's dynamically, everything is changing every day.
Yeah.
So our webinars have been attended by hundreds and hundreds of people, and we get a lot of good feedback that it's really helping our physicians. So also, technology-wise, we are teaching them telemedicine, and we've also, got ourselves affiliated with some telemedicine companies which are helping our physicians get set up there. Besides that, plasma, we have a very good project on plasma donation, which, is a lifesaver. As patients are really, who are very sick, they need plasma, but they're not able to get it. So we have formed a plasma committee, which helps these patients to get plasma. It works at every level. Plasma donors, with the hospital administration, with Red Cross. So this committee is working day and night, and has helped and saved so many lives. So many of our own physicians got sick and got intubated and were not able to get plasma. So we have also established a help desk for physicians, for their support, for their help, and also for non-physicians. If, say, somebody is visiting from India, they cannot find prescriptions, we help them to get prescriptions in this emergency time. So there are many other things we are doing. I think maybe Dr. Reddy can talk about a few other projects that, I can go on and on. So
sure. No, thank you. Thank you for educating us. It's a great job API is doing. So Dr. Reddy, what are the other support activities in this pandemic that API is leading?
There are several things going on simultaneously. One specific thing is for buying lunches for the nurses. We just started the program, and we are buying lunches this week. This week is Nurses Week, and we are buying almost lunch. We are trying to buy lunches for almost 50 hospitals all over the country, and we are trying to increase to 100 hospitals. We just had a meeting, and we want to increase to 100 hospitals because nurses are the front line, the real front line. Doctors are the front line, but they're real front lines. They sit with the patient 24/7 and serve them. I think this is a time to salute the nurses and all the nurses out there. A wonderful job and a happy Nurses Week. And we are doing like various projects at the same time. When we first started, we were the first to announce a universal lockdown. And we wrote letters to the president, vice president, and all the governors and senators. We also requested and read a press release on universal masking, that everybody should wear a mask. We were the first to announce API, and we wrote letters to all the government officials for this implementation. And even the plasma, when it came, Then we set up 3 separate committees, one to work with the government officials, one to work with the hospital administrators, and one with the several donors. And as you know, this COVID came out as a surprise for us.
Right.
We didn't expect that a tiny virus in China will come all the way to United States and hit New York so bad.
Yeah.
Part of the reason is that New York is like a mini world where every New York has a person from every country in the world. So it's
very metropolitan.
Very metropolitan, and so we did several things, and so it's a 3-prong attack on this virus. The government is doing a wonderful job from the government side. The physicians are doing their wonderful job from the physician side. But the most important thing is from educating the people. We release videos. That is the most important. That is the one factor we can say that's kind of flattening the curve. That people staying at home, maintaining strict discipline, staying at home, washing their hands, and that kind of flattened the curve. And we released several videos with several TV media that how to wash your hands, and how to wear a mask, and how to keep it clean, how to stay away from this virus. And those are the educational programs we did, and several things we also there are several visiting parents from India. Who had to extend their visit, but they ran out of the medications because their medications were for the fixed time, and the prescriptions in India do not work here. So there was a problem. So the Indian embassy and ambassador requested us to help. So we created a web line, help desk on our website, and we helped like thousands of Indian visitors with trying to help them get the medications. We partnered with other telehealth agencies so that they can write the prescriptions, and some places we wrote ourselves. And also some of the students whose colleges were closed and whose insurance ran out, we tried to help them. These are students from India. And we also have a help desk on our website for people who want just to get educated. What is going on, because when you watch TV, they have a they sometimes they kind of go overboard. But so we gave the right information on our website with a separate clear literature, and that's how part of the educational programs we did throughout.
That's great. Thank you. So, Dr. Seema, this COVID situation is also happening in India. So, is API helping in any way in terms of support in India?
Yes, very much, Shefali. Our webinars can be seen anywhere, first of all. And secondly, we also are affiliated with another organization called GAPIO, which is a global organization of Indian physicians. So we attend, we speak in their webinars. We have speakers and moderators from our association, so that can be seen worldwide. Also, be part of the fundraiser that I was talking about earlier, that the money that we raised, we are planning to give it as a donation to Prime Minister Modi Fund in India, because
that's great. Great effort. Thank you guys for doing an awesome job, and it's an honor to have you. Dr. Reddy, when you took your presidency, I'm sure, like as everything, when you take such a big task and you're actually leading such a big organization, there are always challenges. Can you talk a little bit about the challenges you faced?
Thank you, Shefali. Actually, that's a great question. What happened was when Seema and I took over the reins of the organization, it was slowly, initially, the way this organization started was to fight discrimination. That was 38 years ago, where there was a lot of discrimination, and all the Indian doctors came together and they fought the discrimination. They successfully fought, and now you see all our Indian physicians, second, third, first generations at higher positions now. There is still discrimination, but still very little as compared to those days. Sure. And so the need, the purpose of the organization has gone down a little bit. and slowly it became like a social organization, more of Bollywood and less of education, and also the physicians, the contribution from the physicians also dwindled. So the financial situation of the organization was also not that great. So when we first took over, our main goals, main challenges were change the face of API along with the help of seniors, physicians, and make it more academic and more educational organization, and also make our finances robust, and also try to our goals of education, mentoring, research, charity, and service, and we try to slowly move on to that. So those are the three main challenges when we took over, and fortunately, when we took over, we slowly moved to more educational thing. Our goal, our main aim at that time was, this was pre-COVID area, that make the whole world know about this new disease called obesity. Obesity is a dangerous disease. It can affect your blood pressure, your sugar, it can cause all other diseases.
Right.
Even with COVID, obesity is considered as a major factor. So that's what we wanted to fight. And we as you know, we went to Antarctica this year, and we spread this word of obesity, prevent obesity in childhood and in the veterans, all 7 continents, including South America and Antarctica. So that was the main program for this year. And suddenly this COVID came in, so then the focus changed on to COVID. And coming to finances, we were able to bring finances back in shape, and now it looks healthy. We have secured enough finances and a good strategic planning for the next 3 years. And coming to education, we have started many mentoring and educational programs. We are not only mentoring and educating medical students in United States, we're also mentoring in India. We recently organized a global health summit in Hyderabad. We organized a medical quiz. Almost 100 medical students from 20 medical colleges all over the country came and participated. It was a very proud moment for us, and it was an instant connection. And those are the programs we did this year.
I think you did an exemplary job, Dr. Reddy. It shows in the leadership and your leadership, and really thanking, I think, on behalf of this TV as well. I'm sure other RB members as well.
Thank you,
I know you're welcome. And Seema, I know you became the chair of Board of Trustees. So tell me some of your challenges as well.
So, Shefali, as Suresh mentioned, we started out like that. Every organization has some internal problems, financial problems, disputes. So this year, when I took over, it was, one thing we promised to ourselves and to others, that, we are going to sort out our internal problems, right, and have people build faith in us, so that, more people can come out and help us and participate, which, was a kind of a dwindling, the faith part, the financial part. So I'm very proud to say that we have been able to do that this year. Our finances were actually doing well, and our projects were being very well liked. Just to give you some examples, like Suresh said about the obesity project, and one of the other projects that we were working on this year was CPR training all over the world. And we did that during our Global Health Summit, many other countries that we visited. Anywhere we go, take our tours, we, promote these 2 projects. So in the past, we were working on trauma project, which Amitabh Bachchan ji, he was an ambassador to that project. And throughout the year, he worked with API to promote that, and neonatal and maternal mortality projects. So projects like that, every year we take up a project and we work throughout the year. Sure. So we were doing our usual charity, community service work when we just got hit by this pandemic, and then this whole new
it's a new world completely
started. And in a way, it's not a good thing, but it gave us an opportunity to come forward and help people and show what API could do. So, like I told you, we did all this tremendous work in past few months. We were not even prepared, but everybody came forward. And looking at all that our organization is doing now, it has totally changed, some of the previous impression that was, not so good impression. Also, it's totally turned around, and more people are coming forward now to help us. And in our own organization, it's like a family. When some problem comes, people come together. So it has really helped to bring everybody together in our family of API, and we're really proud of our all our members and the tremendous work they are doing, not only frontline. Of course, the frontline physicians are, that is very, very commendable, but also, behind the scenes, everybody who's helping out. So I think, people are looking at that and applauding, and, it's really good to hear.
No, I think I had the opportunity to attend one or a few webinars that you guys have arranged. I mean, they're so knowledgeable. There's so much information, and you have some great leaders who come and give information. So it's really great. First of all, I want to thank you, both of you. Your leadership have been really exemplary and wonderful. That's why API is here where it is. And it's just amazing to see you guys there as leaders. And also, you guys are doctors yourself, so you're also working and supporting your patients while doing all this. So that's really commendable. Dr. Reddy, what are the future plans for API?
Thank you, Shefali. Thank you for asking that. We have conducted several webinars, almost more than 20, with 6-7 speakers coming. And last night we had a huge CEO forum, like at least 10 to 15 CEOs came from all over the country. And we were talking about resurrection of from COVID, because COVID came, it damaged us, but we had to get out. We cannot sit and just take it. So we are coming out, and we want to make America strong again, the best country in the world. Going forward, I'll be soon finishing my term, but we have several events planned for the remainder of the term, mostly educational events, and once they should be out pretty soon. And we are planning to do a CME summit on COVID in the month of June. Wow. That will include bringing all the international speakers, national speakers, top-notch speakers who really have so much to contribute towards managing this deadly disease. And that's what I'm looking forward to. And our convention will be has been postponed to sometime in the fall, which was supposed to be in June, but because of the government lockdown, it will be the fall of this year.
So you don't have any specific date for convention yet? You'll be making a decision shortly.
Depends
upon. Very hard.
It's right. The state government hasn't lifted the lockdown yet.
Right. So it's very hard. So thank you we look forward to your convention as well as the summit in June. It's exciting. First of all, I want to really thank from the behalf of show and from my side for the work API does and what you guys do and your leadership. Again, exemplary work, really wonderful leadership. It's sorry to see you guys go. I wish, you can stay as leaders forever, but that's my wish. And thank you again for being there. So before we go, Seema, any message to the viewers?
Yes, Shefali. Well, I would like to say that I am proud to be a physician, to be able to help out in this pandemic at personal level. I've kept my office open throughout, and also at the organization level. So message for the audience is that, there are lots of uncertainties, as we all can see, about the future. This disease may come back. We don't know, but certainly we'll be more prepared at that time. But it has certainly changed us forever, and it will. There will always be. We'll never go back to where we were. May it be technology, working with telemedicine, web conferences, or personally and culturally, like social distancing, hygiene, etc. So there will be a new normal. So I think we should expect that, and we should,
Learn to live with it. Yeah.
accept that.
Yeah.
So,
Right. Thank you, Seema. So, Dr. Reddy, any message from you?
I think this will be treated like before the generation will be changed to before COVID and after COVID. The outlook will be changed. 9/11 changed us. We never thought we'll be screened every time we get on the plane, that we have to take our shoes, our belts, our caps, our coats. But that's the way new life is going to be. We'll be wearing more and more masks. We'll be washing hands more and more. And it puts things in perspective. And every time, this is like a war. This is like a global war. There's so many good things came out of the World War. I'm sure there's lot of sadness and unhappiness, but things become accelerated. The same thing, so many things became accelerated. We would have never thought we would be using Zoom or Skype or WebEx this much.
Exactly right.
Now even my grandparents, they get to use that. So you are on a fast track learning process, and so many universities, schools, so much work, and even doctors and patients, they are able to do through computer. So I think the more and more the outlook will be changed. And even I would rather not use the word social distancing. I would say actually it's a physical distancing, but social closeness. We have become more close socially, even though we are physically distant. Thank you, Shefali, for this opportunity.
No, thank you. First of all, first of all, I wanted to say that's a great saying, because it is true. We communities have come together. So I want to really thank you, and thank you. We are really honored for you guys to come on the show, and thank you for coming here. And we really wish you all your luck in the summit and in the future events.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Shefali.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night and happy Mother's